Hello friends, I am here today with another day of Bookmas. Today we are going to be recommending some single parent romances. First up, we're going to start with A Little Too Close by Rebecca Yarros. This is in the Madigan Mountain series that she wrote with Serena Bowen and Devney Perry. So this one is about Callie and Weston. Weston is returning home to his family's ski resort. He and his brothers don't have the best relationship with their father, but in the first book, that brother has decided that he wants to continue on the ski resort. So Weston comes home, and the only available cottage or whatever, because he refuses to stay in his father's house, it's kind of a shared living space with Callie and her daughter. And at first, Callie is very hesitant to fall for Weston, but it's just super sweet. He would hang out with the daughter in the living area or whatever, because it's a shared living room and kitchen, and then upstairs separately was the bedrooms or something like that. And so he spent a lot of time with her daughter, and yeah, it was super cute. Next, I have Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is book 2 in the Chestnut Spring series. This one is Willa and Cade. Willa becomes the nanny for Cade's son, and then I think she also moves in with them, so it's forced proximity, single dad nanny romance, small town, cowboy, buzzwords galore. Another small town single dad romance is Redeeming Lottie by Melissa Ellen. This one is about Lottie, who comes home to her small town that she has not been in since graduation. She and Tucker were high school sweethearts. I forget exactly what happened, but right as she was leaving, he broke her heart. I think it was to get her to leave instead of staying for him or something like that. But she has a lot of resentment towards him, and when she gets back, she sees that he is now a single dad. So this is a single dad second chance small town romance. Another one with a single mom is Beyond the Thistles by Samantha Young. This is book 1 in her Highlands series. This one is about Sloane and Walker. Sloane is a single mom who has moved to Scotland to get away from people in her past, and so she is working at the Adair family resort. Walker comes there as one of the brothers' bodyguards, and then stays on as the head of security when the brother decides to stay there. And he is really drawn to Sloane and her daughter, and spending time with them, that kind of thing. And then these Samantha Young books do have mystery elements or suspense elements to them, and so when that suspense element starts, he kind of takes on the role of protector for her, and so good. An oldie but a goodie that I feel like I haven't talked about in a while on my channel is Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. This one is about Easton and Tyler. Tyler is a single dad. I want to say he's a politician. I forget if he's a politician or a businessman, but basically his teenage son is getting in trouble at school, and so he goes to a parent-teacher conference and meets the teacher, who is Easton. This one I really liked because there was his son was a teenager, and it was his high school teacher, and so there was a lot of discussion about, do we do this and impact this kid who's already acting out, or do we hold off, and that kind of thing. But yeah, this one is super good. I have another single dad nanny romance, and that is Broken French by Tasha Boyd. This one is about Josie and Xavier. Josie decides to help her best friend who owns this nanny company, and she has a job at the last minute because Xavier needs a nanny on his yacht in the south of France, and so Josie ends up going at the last minute to help her friend, and then they are really drawn to each other, really connected. Next, I have Looked Apart by Julie Ann. This one is another single dad romance, but this one is Flint and Ellen. Flint is a businessman, and he owns this building, and he decides to rent out the offices below his. Ellen ends up being one of the tenants for the building. And Ellen is a music therapist, and so when she plays the music in her office below his, he always hears it in his office. And so they have a bit of an antagonistic relationship, but then one day his autistic son kind of sneaks away and ends up in her office playing music, and she's chatting with him, and his son is really responding to her. And so it kind of like thaws his icy heart that she can like connect with his son. I didn't realize I had quite this many single dad nanny romances, but when you find a good trope, you know it. So I have The Setup and the Substitute by Jiffy Kate. This is in the New Orleans Revelers series. This is a baseball romance. This is about Owen. He is a kind of recently single dad to these two kids. His ex has basically like vanished from their lives, and so he is really struggling with balancing his family and being a professional baseball player who needs to travel a lot. And kind of as the season is really ramping up for the summer, he meets, what's her name? Sophie, she's a substitute teacher for, I think it's his son's class. And so he asks her for help, and so she becomes the nanny for the kids for the summer. And so she moves into their house so that when he's gone, she's there and he doesn't have to go back and forth between her place and his. So yeah, this one is another single dad nanny, but it's also got that forced proximity because they live together. And finally, I have Juniper Hill by Debney Perry. This is book 2 in her Edens series. This is about Memphis and Knox. So Memphis and her very infant child move from New York to Quincy to kind of get away from her baby's father. So she's going to start working as a housekeeper at the Eloise Inn that's run by the Eden family. And the sister that runs the inn gives her this deal on renting this apartment, but it turns out this apartment is above the garage at Knox's house. And so they are kind of forced proximity because they're living kind of in the same space. She's over the garage, he's in the house. But he hears her struggling a lot she has this baby and is trying to do everything all at once by herself. And so when he hears her struggling, he helps take care of the baby and that kind of thing. But yeah, this one I really liked because he really that was part of his draw to, or that was part of their draw to each other, is that he wanted to help her with the baby. He didn't want her to have to be alone in anything. So yeah, highly recommend. So those are some of my single parent recommendations. If you've read any of these, which one was your favorite? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!